Hi, my name is Jan Dufour and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. I'm coming to you from just outside of Louisville, Kentucky. If you're on YouTube, you could go to my blog to catch all of my tips and tricks, and that would be at stampmesilly.com. If you need to reach me, my email address is jandufour@yahoo.com. And then if you like to order any of these products and you don't have a regular demonstrator, please visit my shop at jandufour.stampinup.net. All of these links will be in my blog. So really all you have to remember is stampmesilly.com. Today we're going to make a oops, I'm sorry card. If you know me at all, you know I do multiples. I would hope that this is not one of the things that I would need a whole bunch of, but of course I do make them for gifts, so I will be making a few of these. But you could certainly do everything except the sentiment and have these ready to go. And that's, as you know, if you know me, what I like to have is blank cards, things ready to go so that I don't have to sit down and try to figure out what I want to do in a hurry. So we're going to put this aside. I'll bring it back later. We're using one of our Sale-a-bration sets that you get for free if you have a $300 order. So you can gather people together, any of your Stampin' friends, and put it all in as one order. And this would be a free set. You don't have to pay anything at all for it. It's got some amazing sentiments and things, you know, mixing and matching. It's going to be, and then you could say amazing. That kind of thing. So you can put all of these together. We're going to set that aside. We're also going to be using a die cut called Fabulous Frames. It's got, you know, a big square frame, this one that we're using in the side, the oval, which we are using. These are 4 corners and you can cut them out all at the same time, which is very nice. And then a little tag for a sentiment. So I'll put that aside. First thing I'm going to do is give you the measurements, which will all be down below in my blog. But I want to go ahead and start gluing so that I can use my big fat block, which is the only thing I use it for, to settle all of the different layers of glue that I'm using. It's not that I use a lot of glue, but there's a whole bunch of layers. So actually, I'm going to leave it like this. So we're going to go ahead and put, first of all, this is a top folded card. You cut on the 11-inch side at 5.5. And then this is the 8.5-inch side, scored at 4 1/4. This color is Calypso Coral. And then we're going to put a very thin border, or layer, but that causes a very thin border. So I call this a half step. It's not my first layer size. Usually this is even less than that. And as I put this down, as I tell you, maybe each time, and you're probably tired of hearing it, but if you put down 3 sides and they're right, the 4th side's going to be right. So we'll leave that in there. Let's see. It's a very thin border, so you got to be careful when you cut, and you got to be careful when you put it down. And then we're using a DSP called Sun Prints. I can show that to you real quick. They're really pretty, but without being, I don't want to say loud, without being terribly distracting. Of course, when you have these, you can make great scrapbook pages. You can use them to make cards when you cut them in a different way. Really very pretty, and the colors are Gray Granite, Night of Navy, Pacific Point, and Starry Sky, which I love blues anyway. So that's nice. It had one Calypso Coral group, and that is the one that I'm using. So I'm going to go ahead and get this one down. And we'll slip that in. Again, this would be my normal first layer. And I've just got the other one in between. So that's all resting now. We're going to go ahead and put that underneath that block. Close up my glue for now. Then we're going to cut, like I said, the larger frame, I guess it would be. And then we're going to have to cut 2 of these because if you notice, I have a Calypso Coral edge and I wanted this to be very vanilla. So So I needed to make sure that I had both. So you have to cut that one twice. I'll show you. This is going through. I've got our magnetic platform on there. I'm excited about it, but unfortunately they're not going to be selling them. The new catalog that came out, you know, it became effective in there, even though it's really an annual catalog thing. They just haven't been available. They tested, this is the second version, and they've tested and tested and retested, and they thought everything was fine, but they're having problems. People are calling in. Oops, I guess I need my spatula. They're calling in, and apparently if you use it, you know, 80 million times, which eventually in the life of, you know, the way we stamp, we may very well use it that often. Apparently there is some buckling problems. Now, I absolutely adore it, and I will use it for as long as I can, but it's not something that's currently available. So as you can see, I've got a cream or a very vanilla frame, which I don't want right now, and then the very vanilla center, which I do want. This is also cut out, and it's got a little bit of a beveled edge, so I wouldn't get rid of that either. That's perfect for sentiments. But I'm going to put that aside. I'm going to go ahead and redo this in the Calypso Coral. Oops, sorry, making lots of noise here. I'll just pull that out and show that to you. Whoops, put that aside, sorry. I have my stamp cut and emboss off to the side because it takes up too much room when I'm doing videos. So here's my second set of these. What did I do with, oh, well, it doesn't matter. So eventually what I'm going to be doing is putting this in the center of this one. And I actually put dimensionals underneath it. I just want to put these off so I don't end up losing them. So I elevated them on dimensionals, and this I will keep for a later time as well. All right, so now we have to stamp. Oops, I'm so sorry. And again, if you follow me at all, you know that I use my apparatus all the time. And I make templates, and that's so that I can use this frame and oval quickly the next time I use it. Now, this was a two-piecer because remember we got this frame and this frame, and I have to make sure that the writing fits inside of this frame. So I went ahead and put it back into the piece of cardstock I cut and taped it. So now whenever I want to put something in this particular window, if you will, I can lay that down and make sure that works. Now I've already got them again set up, but I'm going to do something real quick just to show you. There are two methods of getting, we're just going to use, I don't know, hay. There's two methods of getting something in the right place. So you can do it, obviously, putting it on a stamp block and just winging it and putting it down and hoping that it's in the right place. Or you can have a template like this. Now I'm going to move it away from there because obviously that one's occupied. But you can put it down and, you know, eyeball it to where you think it should be. Then when you pick it up, now in this particular case, you've got to make sure that you put this down with a magnet so that it doesn't move because you've put it in a non-traditional, you know, corner. So you put that down, you would stamp it. I'll do this real quick. And then you can look at the grid lines and it's right on a straight line. So yay me, I did it right. I can leave this here and then now put in my ovals, oval after oval after oval, and get that centered. The other way you can do it, if you don't want to worry about, and I'm just going to wipe this off so I don't get too inky while I move it, is to essentially slap it down. Doesn't matter if it's straight, doesn't matter where it is, and ink it up and have it where you can see it. obviously it's wonky and it's not probably anywhere that I would want to use that. Then I would take my template, put my template in the right spot, put that down, put this here, and go ahead and stamp it because it's where it is. So those are the two ways that you can make sure that your sentiments are centered. Make sure that, whoops, I gotta put this back because I need it. Hang on, let's see, let's get rid of this hay so I don't get that confused. Take this up. I've got this positioned so that when I stamp it, it's gonna be right where I want it. And now that I've shown you how to do it, I'm not gonna take this one apart. But you just kind of, this works really good with punches too. It's very quick with punches. So you just kind of scoot it until it like doesn't snap literally, but it kind of snaps in where it's supposed to be. It falls into, and then you just stamp it. And again, if it wasn't dark enough, I could do it again. It would be perfect. But there you have it. Oops, I'm so sorry. I'm going to leave it there because I will be making multiples in a little bit off screen. Now this one I didn't use a template for it. I just, oops, let me see what I did with my other sheet of paper. It is missing. So I guess that means, oops, I thought I did, but I apparently did not. So I need to cut out for the inside so that I can stamp. I'm the worst. So let us cut that. That's a normal layer, the first layer, if you will. I'm sorry, oh my gosh. I will try to cut that out of the video. I accidentally hit my stand. So this is the normal first layer, which is 5 1/4 by 4. So we will cut this 5 1/4 by 4. And just because I have it here, I'm gonna go ahead and cut another one because I can use it on my next card. And I might make it in starry blue or one of those other pretty blues. We'll stick that over here. All right, let's try that again. So now I'm gonna do the inside sentiment. And this I eyeballed, but again, I still use my Stamparatus because then if it's not inked well enough, I can go ahead and ink it again. I just kind of wanted it centered and at the top. I did stamp it once and put it here so that I could see that it was all on the same line. So it was in fact straight, which, you know, sometimes you're luckier than others when you try putting that down. So I'm just gonna go ahead and stamp this. This is for the inside of the card. And then I'll put this out of the way. Let's go back to this. So this is all nice and flat and straight and happy. I'm gonna go ahead and put this on the inside of the card. And then we'll work on the top front. Oh, that's upside down. There we go. And as you can see, there's much more of a border here. This is, like I said, the normal, got that dirty, I can fix that. The normal measurement of it being 1/4 of an inch off and then centered, which gives you an 1/8 inch border. We used to sell these, but we don't anymore. You can get them pretty much anywhere. It's actually 4 times this, and I cut it because you really like to use the corners. And so that makes more corners. See, here's another half of them. They work really well. All right, so we've got that done. Now, to build the rest of it, as I said, we, you know, sent through the Stamp, Cut, and Emboss. We're gonna lay this down. So for this, I didn't worry too much about the edges. I basically just kind of touched it in a couple of places on the edge. Not worrying too much about where the glue is, because there's anytime you put glue on something that doesn't have a stressor, in other words, something that's not pulling on it, that's not quite in where I want it, pulling on it, stretching on it, flipping on it, you know, the glue pretty much holds it down. So we'll put a little bit up on there and that should work fine. Then we're going to center this, frame. And again, I'm putting very little glue on it, just enough so that each section, quarter or whatever, has a little bit of glue. And centering that on the inside. And then I did go ahead and put dimensionals on the back of this, which it's just slightly noticeable, but it does give it a little bit of depth. So you can choose to do that or not. You can, you know, do the whole scoot in the frame until it locks kind of section, then doesn't want to come out. Or you can put the dimensionals. And I'm going to go the dimensional route. Oops. My hands are sticky. I don't know why. Oh, good. I have like one right in the middle of the other one. Let's move that one off. If you don't press them down real hard, they can roll off, kind of roll off if you need to ever get rid of a dimensional. Put those aside. Let's see, I think I got, see, they're sticking to my finger. I find these everywhere in my house, just as an aside. All right. And then we're going to just stick it in the center of this. And I kind of do tuck that one in just so that I can kind of line it up, and then it is in the right spot. Like I said, I hope you don't have to make a whole bunch of these particular cards with the Oops, I'm Sorry, but it would be great to go ahead, cut them all out, have them prepared and ready to go, and then you can put whatever sentiment in that you need. Again, my name is Jan Dufour. I have a website, if you're watching me on YouTube, at stampmesilly.com. My email address is jandufour@yahoo.com. Please drop any questions you have, or you can write them in the comments down below. If you are on YouTube, please subscribe and click the bell. I post once a week, and that way you'll get notification. If you're watching me on my blog, then you can subscribe there. There's no notification bell. I really appreciate you stopping by. I hope you had a good time. I did. Bye.